I'd say that's probably the most rewarding thing, is being able to see the student athletes and visit with them and get to know them. When I was a student, I worked for the athletics department on an hourly wage, doing grounds work. It was when they were expanding Lane Stadium. We cleared out some of the stuff under the stadium. When Coach Dooley came in as the head football coach and athletics director, they wanted to resod Lane Stadium, so I helped with that project. That was probably one of the hardest physical jobs that I did here. When we would water the football fields, we stayed up all night so that the team could use the fields the next day. So we would water, we would have to move the pipes every hour. We'd drive back over on campus, turn off the water, unhook the pipes, move them 20 yards down the field, and then turn the water back on. We did that all night. It was kind of fun. I wasn't sure when I graduated exactly what I wanted to do. I did know that I wanted to live in Blacksburg. I liked it here, and so what I did was I worked some jobs locally, and then eventually a position became open in the athletics department, and because the people that ran the athletics department and the administration were familiar with me from working on the grounds crew, they offered me the job working in football. I started out as a recruiting coordinator for football. There were very few women recruiting for college football at the time. At one time I was the only female recruiting coordinator in Division I. And then eventually the athletic director moved me up into administration, and I became an associate AD, and then eventually a senior associate AD. And when Dave Brain, who was our director of athletics at the time, when he left and went to Georgia Tech, then I was the interim AD at that point. Spring of 2012, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma, which is cancer in your lymph node system, so it's all over your body. And I had tumors all over my body, and actually had one tumor that was cutting off my airway, so I ended up getting handicapped parking because I couldn't walk more than 50 feet without having to stop and sit down and catch my breath. Went through the treatment, and then shortly after I finished the first round of chemo, or the original round of chemo, the cancer came back, attached to my sciatic nerve in my leg, which was extremely painful. And the doctor said, I thought I was just going to have more chemotherapy, but he said, no, you're going to need a stem cell transplant. I was still trying to work from home. Some people would come over to the house, and we would sit in the kitchen and go through personnel issues and salary stuff and various sport administrative stuff. And I was doing everything I could via email. I just couldn't come into the office because I couldn't be around a lot of people, and definitely couldn't be around children just simply because of the immune system deficiency. I got to tell you, had it not been for the Virginia Tech family, again, that would have been very difficult, but they were just absolutely super. I received hundreds and hundreds of cards, emails, well wishes. The athletic department staff, the football staff, John Boleyn in particular, and women's soccer partnered together to come up with wristbands for all the student athletes in the department to wear, showing support for lymphoma and for my situation. I got a picture of the spring game one time with all the football players holding their arms up, showing that they're wearing my wristbands. And then while I was recovering, I was watching the ACC women's softball tournament, and we were not expected to do well in that tournament, and we actually worked our way up through the tournament bracket to the championship game.
And a center field, base hit, that's going to be good for Ribby. And the Hokies are back on top, 5-4.
And it was so emotional for me because I saw all the players were sitting there. They were in the dugout, and they usually lean on the fence, and all of them were sporting their lime green lymphoma bracelets that the department had given out to the student athletes. So that really touched me. I was like, wow, look at that. Every one of them's wearing the bracelet to support me. And things like that really help you get through it. So you got to keep a positive attitude, and you got to keep stress out of your life. It was a long process, and when I think about it now, it doesn't seem like it was that bad. And I tell people, oh, it's stem cell transplant, it wasn't that bad. But the people that were helping me and taking care of me remind me that it was pretty serious. And but I got through it, and you know, things like that just make you stronger. And it has definitely changed my perspective. Things that used to bother me don't bother me as much anymore. I did decide that I need to retire because physically I just don't think I can keep up with things, and I don't want to hold the department back. So I'm going to retire a little bit early and then maybe work part-time with the Monogram Club. But the experience that I had just changed my whole perspective and outlook on life. It's like, I don't sweat the small stuff anymore, and it's just try to be more positive, try to think, you know, be happy for where I am in my recovery. I feel great.